Hello everyone, welcome to Product Chronicles, product stories from Jaco. I'm Joca Torres, here to share with you real product stories from Jaco, showcasing how to tackle product management and digital transformation challenges, true stories from my over 30-year career and the lessons I've learned along the way. In this first episode, we'll explore the story of how I began my career in product management. It's a throwback to the 90s, even before the internet was available in Brazil, my home country. We'll see how sometimes we do product management without realizing it, showing that product management before being a career is a necessity for companies that use or plan to use technology, which is basically all companies. Let's get started. This is the story of my first venture, my first startup, which I co-founded with 3 other partners in the early 1990s. It all began when I was finishing my computer engineering degree at ITA, known as the Brazilian MIT. Actually, Casemiro Montenegro Filho, founder of ITA, took his inspiration from MIT and invited Richard Herbert Smith, professor and head of the Aeronautical Engineering Department at MIT, to come to Brazil in the 1940s to help him create the engineering school. In my final year, my uncle made me an interesting proposal to start a BBS, Bulletin Board System, company. According to him, it was a kind of a computer network where users connected via telephone. He didn't understand that much about computers, but knew business well, having had both successful and not so successful ventures. For those who don't know, a BBS was a sort of a precursor to the internet. Imagine a network where people connected using telephone lines and could send messages, download files, participate in forums, and even chat in real time. This was all happening in 1992-93, at a time when the internet didn't exist. The internet only started to become available in Brazil in late 1995. I accepted the challenge and began working at the company. We were 4 partners, but initially I was the only one working full-time. I was the SysOp, the system operator. This meant that I handled everything from technical configuration and system maintenance to installing hardware and software. I was also responsible for answering user queries, solving technical problems, and managing subscriptions and billing. The BBS was called PersoCom, focusing on personal communication. After a few years, we changed the name to Dial Data, envisioning offering services to companies, not just individual users. Access to the BBS was via telephone lines. Each line allowed only one user to connect at a time. To meet the growing demand that we had, we installed more than 90 access lines, enabling over 90 users to connect simultaneously. I remember we had a calculation of how many subscribers fit per telephone line to support peak hours, especially at night when a large number of users were connected simultaneously. Users would connect to the BBS, download files, read and respond to personal messages, or participate in topic-specific forums, join chats, and then disconnect, freeing the line for another user. We implemented the subscription model, offering users 1 hour of access to the BBS every day. This limit encouraged users to make the most of their time and created a rotation, allowing more people to access the system. One of my main concerns was keeping the BBS attractive and relevant, constantly seeking new content. We integrated with other BBSs for message exchange between users of different systems, both in Brazil and abroad. You could say that BBS were the forerunners of the internet and even of social networks. Just as the internet allows for the exchange of information and real-time communication, BBSs offered a platform for digital interaction when these technologies were still in their infancy. BBSs also promoted the formation of online communities where people with common interests could gather, share knowledge, and build relationships, anticipating many features now very common in social networks. The most interesting part of this journey was realizing over time that I was performing the role of a product manager without knowing it. Back then, my focus was on connecting the company's objectives, such as increasing user engagement, with solutions to customer problems and needs, like the search for information, entertainment, and socialization. I was always looking for and creating new attractions to keep users engaged and interested in returning to the BBS. This is exactly what a product manager does: use technology to solve customer problems and needs, thereby achieving the company's objectives. In 1998, we sold Dial Data to an American company called Via Networks, which was acquiring internet service providers in various countries to create a global internet service provider and eventually go public. After the sale, I received an offer to work at Via Networks in a global position. At Dial Data, although I was performing the role of a product manager without knowing it, my official role was CTO. The offer I received was for the position of product director, reporting to the VP of marketing. The mission was to create a common product portfolio among the group's different companies. I found the offer interesting and I accepted it. This was the first time I held the product role officially, reporting to marketing, as product management was traditionally allocated to marketing at the time. This occurred because marketing is responsible for the very famous 4Ps: product, price, place, and promotion. At the end of the 1990s, it was becoming clear that a dedicated function was needed to connect business objectives and customer problems through technology. Some companies placed this function in marketing due to the product aspect of the 4Ps that we've just discussed, while others placed it in technology, as the people occupying this function were mostly from technical backgrounds, as I was. By the early 2000s, the product management role became clear and eventually became an independent area. Currently, Localweb is the biggest internet company in Brazil. It started out in 1998 as a web hosting company, and today it has many products such as web store and other e-commerce solutions, email marketing, digital marketing, and email solutions. When I joined Localweb in 2005, the invitation from Gilberto Maltner, Localweb's co-founder and my colleague from ITA, was for me to be a product manager and help diversify the company's product portfolio. This strategy was created by Gilberto because, at the time, Localweb only offered web hosting, and free hosting services were starting to appear, like APG here in Brazil, similar to GeoCities. My mission was to help diversify the product portfolio, assisting in the development and launch of new products. I'll talk more about Localweb in the next episode. Some people approach me for mentorship saying they want to transition to product management but lack the experience, and that it's difficult for companies to consider candidates without prior product experience. When we talk more about their career, I ask if they've had the opportunity to use technology to solve customer problems to achieve company objectives. Most of the time, the answer is yes. I then tell them they've already played the product manager role and should include this in their story. By seeking technological solutions that connect company objectives with customer needs, we are in fact performing the role of a product manager. This is one of the things that I learned from creating and operating a BBS company. I was able to apply and expand my computer engineering knowledge, but I also learned a lot about entrepreneurship, customer service, and technological innovation. However, the most valuable lesson I was understanding that often we are performing crucial functions like what we know now as product management without realizing it. We've reached the end of the first episode of Product Chronicles, Product Stories from Jaco. I hope this story has provided insights that can be useful in your journey. In the next episode, I will talk a bit about how we started using data at LocalWeb and also at ContaZoo, another company I worked for, an ERP for a small business, and the transformative role that data can play. Remember to follow our podcast, share it with your network, and send us your questions through Jaco's social media. Thank you for listening and stay tuned for our next episode of Product Chronicles, Product Stories from Jaco.